Hello guys, welcome back to TFD. If you're a Caitlin Clark fan or an Indiana Fever supporter, you already know what's up. But for the haters out there, the old school WNBA crowd, the ones we jokingly call the slows, this one's gonna sting a bit. We've been saying it all along. Caitlin Clark moves the needle like no one else in this league. It's not an opinion anymore, it's just a fact. Fans are showing up, tuning in, and engaging because of one player, and that energy spills over to the entire Fever organization. Now, Forbes just dropped a fascinating report that puts real numbers behind this impact. They broke down how much Indiana Fever's social media engagement value is worth across platforms like X, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Every post, every like, every share, it all adds up. And those numbers translate directly into dollars. And guess what? The Fever's social media engagement value absolutely crushes the rest of the WNBA. We're talking about numbers that are over 5 times higher than the next closest team. That's not just a small margin, that's total domination in digital presence. Caitlin Clark isn't just boosting attendance and TV ratings. She's literally transforming the Fever into a marketing powerhouse. Whether you like her or not, you can't deny the financial footprint she's leaving on the league. The Fever have become the face of WNBA engagement, and that's entirely because Caitlin Clark is the name fans can't get enough of.
Let's go down here. Let's just scroll down. The Indiana Figure's staggering $55 million social media evaluation speaks volumes. Now, before we get into this, let me just come over here and let me read this to you so you know exactly what we're looking at. After noticing the growing popularity of the WNBA across social media, social agency STN Digital and analytics and measurement platform Zoom teamed up to quantify the league's online impact with a newly released WNBA social rankings and insight report. The research analyzes how every team performed across social media during the 2025 season and identifies which clubs and content pieces generated the most engagement, impressions, and estimated media value. STN Digital and Zoom evaluated official team-owned accounts on Instagram, X, Facebook, and YouTube and tracked more than 20,000 pieces of content published during the 2025 season between May 16th and September the 11th, 2025. Quote, "The WNBA is on a meteoric rise," David Brickley, CEO of STN Digital. "The valuations of these franchises are increasing dramatically. The ratings on television are better than ever." And I think there's no better time to look at what's happening on social media. Using a model called, quote, social value metric, the study calculated the estimated pay media equivalent value created by organic post factoring in impressions, video views, engagements to benchmark what the same exposure would cost through advertising. So in other words, if you paid out, if an advertiser paid out to get a certain amount of eyes in front of this amount of people, this is what it would be worth. The findings revealed the Indiana Fever led the league with an estimated $55.004 million in social value, 38.73 million engagements, 1.17 billion impressions during the 2025 season. The top 5 teams by social value were the Indiana Fever, Dallas Wings at 8.61 million. That was second, folks. She went from 55 million down to 8.61 million. Where's Angel? Las Vegas Aces 7.64 million, Link 7.54 million. The Chicago Sky was 5th, 6.35 million. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. Worth noting, STN Digital played a supportive role in the Indiana Fever's social strategy during the 2025 season, working with the Pacers, sports, and entertainment on key campaigns, providing unique social content to connect fans to the team through social media. By the way, the Dallas Wings did have a dramatic year-over-year increase. They increased engagements by 505%, impressions by 251%, and a social value by 344%. So, good God. I don't know where they ranked prior, but they had that much growth and was still, basically $37 million behind the Indiana Fever in second place. Wow. And I wonder where that would be. Look, the Indiana Fever did not quit posting social media content involving Caitlin Clark. They still continuously posted stuff.
But that right there really shows you the power of someone like Sophie Cunningham, too. We've talked about her before. Remember when we looked at her Google Trends ranking? Yeah, she was sitting up there among the most searched WNBA players for several months. I believe she was actually third overall at one point. And look, that kind of visibility, that kind of search traffic, it's not just hype. It has real monetary value attached to it. You start seeing her pop up in sponsorship deals, commercials, partnerships, Arby's, for example, and a few others. That's not by accident. That's because her name carries weight online. Companies know fans search for her, talk about her, and that translates into brand power. But honestly, I've got to admit something. I was shocked when I saw these new social rankings. I genuinely thought the Chicago Sky would land in second place just because of Angel Reese's massive following and the media attention she's drawn this year. But nope, Chicago ended up fifth, and that's wild. Angel's name has been everywhere, but the data doesn't lie. When you stack the numbers next to each other, Caitlin Clark, Paige Bueckers, A'ja Wilson, and then Angel, the difference in monetary value is just staggering. The Indiana Fever and Caitlin are in their own universe. Everyone else is way behind. The Chicago Sky in particular trailed the Fever by about $49 million in social media value. Let that sink in. $49 million. That's a canyon, not a gap. And then this part blew my mind. According to the same report, the Indiana Fever had a single YouTube video estimated to be worth $733,594 in media value. Yeah, you heard that right. Nearly $750,000 from one video. As someone who's been on YouTube for a while, that number just doesn't happen by accident. I don't even know how many views that video must have pulled, but for it to be worth over $700,000, that's insane. That means people weren't just watching, they were engaging, sharing, and talking about it non-stop. That's the definition of viral impact. It's a reminder of how strong the Fever's social strategy has been and how much Caitlin Clark's presence supercharges everything she touches. Her highlights, interviews, and behind-the-scenes clips turn into cultural moments that rack up millions of impressions. So yeah, shout out to Sophie Cunningham for holding her own and making waves off the court too. But when it comes to the Fever and Caitlin Clark, the numbers speak for themselves. That's it for now, folks. Tell me what you think down below. Who's next in line to make this kind of digital impact in the WNBA? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.